storm in the next day or two. But I wouldn't worry because right now it looks like this is going to stay out to sea. A lot of those tropical models keeping the system out to sea. Even our ensemble models showing this working towards the north, northwest, taking a little bit more of a westerly turn and then lifting to the north towards Bermuda and taking it out to sea. When we look at our European and GFS forecasts, also not impacting land at all, getting close to the United States by Monday of next week, but then quickly beginning to recurve out into the Atlantic. So I wouldn't worry about this, but of course we'll continue to watch all developments. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about your local forecast. First, though, at 6:40, let's get over to First Warning traffic expert Meaghan Mackey with breaking traffic news.
Yeah, Kelly, and there is a shutdown if you're traveling out the door this morning in Winter Garden. It's along State Road 429 southbound, right after Stony Brook Parkway, heading into Horizon West. Now, this is a crash with some injuries reported about 15 minutes ago. You can see all the lanes are shut down here this morning. Traffic, though, is getting by in that shoulder, but we know this is a very busy area in Winter Garden. So if you are traveling south this morning, south of that Turnpike interchange, plan ahead for that morning drive. So there's going to be a lot of traffic. You can see the backups building here already because those lanes do shut down just straight ahead. And I want to quickly explain, this is in that area where those flex lanes are. The Central Florida Expressway Authority has installed these, and you can see with these X's, that means those lanes are closing. So that is the purpose of these signs. Haven't seen a whole lot of big crashes since they activated those, but you can see this morning they are working, indicating to drivers that just ahead there is going to be that closure. I'll monitor this crash, and we'll also look at those travel times impacted coming up in just a few minutes. Shut down this morning, traveling along State Road 429. This is impacting those of you in Winter Garden, traveling southbound here right after Stony Brook Parkway, heading towards New Independence Parkway. You can see all those lanes are shut down. Traffic here is getting by in that left shoulder, but this is not normally an area where we see crashes. So if you're traveling towards Horizon West, this is going to impact your morning drive southbound along the 429. You can see here that purple showing that closure heading towards that crash. Traffic, though, does significantly improve after New Independence Parkway, but slowly those travel times are going to start to be impacted traveling through this area along State Road 429. Right now, still seeing green travel times between the two. We are at less than 6 minutes, but southbound likely going to be closer to 20 with those delays. It is 6:51 on your Tuesday. Your top stories are straight ahead. Road 429 is shut down in Winter Garden. Traveling southbound at Stony Brook Parkway, all the lanes shut down. Traffic, though, getting by on that shoulder, but huge backups just south of that Turnpike interchange. No need for a detour route right now because there's not a good one, but do expect major delays heading towards Horizon West this morning.
And getting another look at your forecast already this morning, starting off very comfortable temperatures in the 60s and 70s. But today it's still going to be warm. Our temperatures warm up into the mid 80s to low 90s with a mix of sun and clouds and a few pop-up showers for the afternoon and evening, especially along I-4 and down to our south and east. We have up to a 30% coverage of rainfall starting tomorrow. In humidity, which will also increase our threat of rain, a couple of thunderstorms as well. Let's get you started with a look out at our temperatures. We're at 65 right now in Ocala. We're at 74 in Orlando. It's 66 in Palm Coast, 70 degrees in DeLand and in the Villages, 72 in New Smyrna, 74 degrees in Melbourne, and we are at 74 degrees in Claremont. Now, when we look at our temperatures in Marion County, we're waking up all across the board in the 60s. 64 degrees in Romeo, 63 in Reddick, 67 degrees in Bellevue, 66 in Lynn, and 66 degrees in Lake George. We're at 68 degrees in Rutland, 69 degrees in Wildwood, 70 degrees in Bushnell, and 72 degrees now in Webster, 71 in Mount Dora, 69 degrees in Altoona. Otherwise, this afternoon, it's just going to be warm. Temperatures reach the middle and upper 80s, and at least right now, we're starting off with sunshine. Here's a look at our tower camera network at Rusty's at the port in Port Canaveral. Starting off with a lot of sun, most of us dry, just a couple of showers right off the coast of Brevard County, but that's all we have this morning. I am expecting a few more isolated showers later on in the day, up to about a 20% coverage of rainfall during the late afternoon and early evening hours. I think if you're farther north and northwest, the more dry air you are going to see. Right around 2 o'clock, we'll track a couple of showers up and down the I-4 corridor, stretching into parts of Brevard County. And then if we have any thunderstorms, it's going to be around that 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame in the metro, down to the south and east in Osceola County, working into Brevard County, and then late tonight, all of that rainfall clears out. Now tomorrow afternoon, We'll still see high temperatures in the middle and upper 80s, couple of low 90s, with rain chances gradually increasing day by day as we get a little bit more moisture in our forecast. So our dew points begin to rise, and so do our rain chances. Starting tomorrow through Thursday, it's a 30% coverage of rainfall. On Friday, it is a 40% coverage of showers. A quick look at the tropics. We're watching Invest 92L, which has a high chance of development. It could become a tropical depression or tropical storm in the next day or two. Latest tropical models keeping this out to sea. And when we look at our global models as well, not just the deterministic, so the GFS and the European, but also their ensemble members, this is also expected to stay out to sea. So I'm not concerned about that yet, but we'll continue to watch for any sort of developments, especially once this gets into a tropical depression. Things could change, but for now, I'm not seeing anything significant for Central Florida. Fall begins next week, just 6 days away, and not going to feel like it. Temperatures will reach the low 90s with afternoon showers and storms. It's 7:22. Let's get over to First Warning traffic expert Meaghan Mackey.
Kellianne, this is a live look in Winter Garden. I'm still monitoring this crash this morning along the 429, impacting those southbound drivers here south of Stony Brook Parkway, heading towards New Independence Parkway and Horizon West. Looking like crews have gotten this cleared pretty quickly. It looks like the last car involved on that tow truck this morning. Still, those lanes are shut down, but traffic is getting by here on the shoulder. So we should start to see those lanes reopen, hopefully within the next 20 minutes or so. But for now, big backups expected traveling just south of that Turnpike interchange. This is a live look here, so plan ahead for that morning drive. The good news is within the last 10 minutes, traffic has started to move a little bit better through this area, but still tracking those delays again on that southbound side. Northbound, though, not impacted by this crash, but not an area we normally monitor crashes in Winter Garden, so this is not typical for a Tuesday. You can see those travel times between New Independence Parkway and Florida's Turnpike. Still some backups. Right now, southbound, we're going to sit about 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more weather, traffic, and local news.
Breaking news.
Thanks for joining us. We do want to get right to breaking news with First Warning traffic expert Meaghan Mackey. Major delays that you've been monitoring on the 429 in Winter Garden. How's it looking right now? Yeah, we can see traffic is slowly starting to improve here this morning, but if you are traveling through Winter Garden, 2 of the lanes southbound are shut down because of this crash. We do know there were some injuries traveling here, and traffic is getting by here on the shoulder. This is just after Stony Brook Parkway, so traveling southbound through Winter Garden, heading towards Horizon West. There were some injuries with this crash. There was actually one vehicle that slammed into this guardrail, but partially damaged that. So it looks like crews are going to have to repair that later on. But at least right now, you are going to be sitting in a lot of traffic after you exit that Turnpike interchange. So south of there, you can see traffic slowly moving through this area, picking up pace here, but do expect those delays this morning. But we should start to see those lanes reopen here within the next 20 minutes or so now that those cars are loaded onto that tow truck. So anticipate those delays this morning. Nothing else major to impact you early on this Tuesday. Kellyanne, how's the forecast looking for our day ahead?
Maggie, we're starting off feeling very comfortable. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. We're at 65 right now in Ocala, 66 in Palm Coast, 72 in New Smyrna, 69 degrees in DeLand, and 75 degrees in Kissimmee. Now this afternoon, we're warming up, middle to upper 80s, couple of low 90s here in the metro, and we'll track a few showers as well. But today's overall coverage of rainfall will be right around 20%, and it's going to favor our I-4 locations and south and east. So if you're north and west of I-4, you have lower rain chances in your direction. Tomorrow, we are up to a 30% coverage of rain. A couple of thunderstorms are possible. Same thing on Thursday. And then looking ahead to the end of the weekend and into the beginning of next week, it's still warm with scattered showers and storms.
Your tax dollar.
And Meaghan, you've been monitoring trouble on the 429.
Yeah, fortunately that crash has fully cleared, Jason. So traveling in Winter Garden, not going to be any issues any longer for that morning drive. I-95 though in Melbourne, there's a crash here southbound. This is south of the Penita Causeway. You can see here it is now fully off here onto that shoulder. Actually, looks like there's 5 FHP vehicles. So this could actually be some type of situation here where they're working with this van. So avoid that shoulder here this morning. Kellyanne, how's the forecast forecast looking for our Tuesday?
Megan, we're starting out this morning feeling very comfortable. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s, especially 60s north and west of town. And this afternoon, we're warming up into the middle and upper 80s, a couple of low 90s. We'll gradually build in some showers, although I think our rain chances will really be limited to the I-4 corridor and south and east. Eventually, we'll track a few more thunderstorms around 3, 4 o'clock, with all of that rainfall clearing out late tonight. Today, up to a 20% coverage of rainfall, increasing our rain chances over the next couple of days.
For Osceola